What's up, you beauties? Welcome to the High and Wide Hockey YouTube channel, where we bring the latest buzz, hottest takes, and everything in between from the hockey world. Today, we're diving into the David Jiricek rumors. Where could he be heading? And what would it mean for the teams in play? I'm Jim Icavone, your host for all things High and Wide Hockey. If you're tuning in live, don't forget to smash the subscribe button and ring the bell so you're always in the loop when we go live. And hey, podcast fam, we see you. Make sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify so you never miss a single episode. Now let's get into it. David Jiricek, a name that's been on every Columbus Blue Jackets fans' lips lately, and not just because of his on-ice talent. Rumors are swirling about a potential trade involving the 2022 6th overall pick. Is there any truth to it, or is this just smoke with no fire? Let's dive in. First, let's recap who David Jiricek is. The 6'3" Czech defenseman has been lighting up the AHL with the Cleveland Monsters. In his rookie season, he posted an impressive 38 points in 55 games, earning him all rookie team honors and a call-up to the NHL. Since then, he's racked up 31 points in 31 games across 2 seasons in the AHL and has played in a total of 53 games for the Blue Jackets. He's touted as a cornerstone player with elite puck-moving skills and a heavy shot. But with potential comes tough decisions. The Blue Jackets are loaded with defensive prospects in David Jiricek, Denton Mateychuk, and Carson Sulemans, to name a few. Combine that with veteran names like Zach Werenski, Ivan Provorov, and Damon Severson, and the question arises, do the Jackets have too many cooks in the kitchen? Now, there was a rumor earlier today. Elliotte Friedman brought up David Jiricek on the 32 Thoughts podcast, and we have a graphic here for you guys. So what was mentioned on 32 Thoughts was, and this is Elliot Freeman speaking, I've heard they're looking for another player, like similar young player, maybe someone who hasn't popped yet, as Brian Burke would have said. There were some reports about Edmonton. I just looked at it. I don't see much. I don't see how that's a match there. I'll say many have wondered. I've wondered about Nashville. Nashville has young players. Nashville got a huge win in beating Winnipeg the other night, but the guys who have kind of felt the squeeze in Nashville are some of their young players who have been in and out of the lineup. So I can see, in theory, if the Predators wanted to do that, that's the kind of player I could see Columbus looking at. Friedman also mentions Minnesota has some fits there if Minnesota wanted to do that. But he mentioned Philadelphia last. He said, another team that's got a lot of young players, and I don't know how they feel about this, is the Philadelphia Flyers. And that's the team that we're going to focus on most here, because the Flyers have a lot of young players who haven't popped yet. And while trading Jiricek would be a bold move, and the fan base, I think, in Columbus is somewhat divided. Some believe his potential could be untouchable, while others argue that winning now requires sacrifice. And Columbus is sort of middle of the pack this year. They're not having trouble scoring goals. They're giving up a ton, 72 goals against, and they're sort of a 500 team as is. But after all, isn't this why you stockpile assets in the first place? So another factor, the Blue Jackets don't have any second-round picks this year, and let's show their picks. There you go, Columbus draft picks this year. They have a first-round pick this year, and they have a first-round pick next year. But as you can see, no second-round picks for the next 2 seasons. So maybe the lack of early picks in the next 2 rounds could factor in. Let's see what else we got. So why would the Flyers be a match? I mentioned they have a few players on their roster that haven't exactly popped yet. A left winger in Tyson Forster, Morgan Frost, who was a center, and a Bobby Brink, who's sort of chugging along this year, having a pretty decent year. But you can see they're not making very much money. Tyson Forster hasn't popped yet. He had a solid rookie season in which he scored 20 goals. Bobby Brink is most likely a third-line winger in the NHL, more of an offensive type guy that maybe Columbus can pair with some of their centers out there, and Adam Fantilli. It seems like they have, pretty decent middle 6 wingers, maybe playing above where they need to play, and Marchenko and Voronkov, and maybe even Chinakhov. So Bobby Brink could help factor in that sense. Tyson Forster would be another very solid middle 6 guy for Columbus. And then I get that Jiricek is disgruntled, so maybe that brings his, or at least that's the vibe, that's the word that he wants out of Columbus, which is why the Blue Jackets are shopping him. But the Flyers might have to pair up one of these younger players here and add in maybe one of their second round picks. And let's get the Flyers picks on the board here. So you can see the Flyers have a lot of picks in this summer's NHL draft. They have 3 first round picks and 3 second round picks. So 6 picks in the first 2 rounds, add in the third round picks, 7 picks in the first 3 rounds. The Flyers have the ammunition if they want to spend their assets on a David Jiricek. It wasn't really specified what Columbus would be looking for in return in terms of position. It was just a young player of the same age range as Jiricek who hasn't popped yet. And for me, I don't know if Morgan Frost has popped yet to you guys, but he's had 2 40-point seasons. He's a little older than some of these guys, and Forster and Brink. But that's a name that I would toss out and maybe, send over a second round pick. This is not a guy where you're going to have to spend first round picks on. This is more of a Cutter Gauthier in Philadelphia type situation where if you can get a Jamie Drysdale and a second round pick, it's a win, So you're seeing a lot of weird trades out there where the Flyers are giving up premium assets. And I'm not sure they're going to have to do that with Jiricek. We'll see, unless there's some kind of a bidding war here. And, Nashville and Minnesota were mentioned by Elliotte Friedman. So maybe that's maybe Columbus is feeding information to 32 Thoughts podcast to sort of drum that up per se. So, of course, this could all be speculation. Insiders are reporting the Blue Jackets are fielding offers, but aren't actively shopping Jiricek. And if 32 Thoughts is talking about it, I can tell you now that that's absolutely BS. That's sort of, hey guys, this guy's available. Send in your best offers now kind of thing. Jiricek's just 20 years old with room to grow into a top pairing defender. So what do you guys think? Should the Blue Jackets keep Jiricek as a core piece of their rebuild, or is he the trade chip they need to take a next step? So thank you guys for hanging out with us on High and Wide Hockey. If you love the show, hit the like button and share it with your fellow hockey fanatics. Got a take on Jiricek's future or just want to chirp me? Go ahead and do that in the comments. We love hearing from you beauties. And remember, hit the subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our next drop. Podcast peeps, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify got you covered. Make sure you're following us here too. And until next time, you beauties, keep it high, keep it wide, and I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.